act.
Oh, hello and welcome to an Acting for an Amateur. Today on Acting for an Amateur, we're talking about Commander's Mortum. I recommend you go watch it because I'm about to talk probably spoilery stuff here. I'm addressing the acting I did in that one. So this is a thing that'll probably happen from now on after we do a production and a movie. Probably have an Acting with an Amateur episode that'll go around about that. Sadly, I'm the only one that's going to talk today. I really would have liked to gotten some of the other people to talk about their characters, but I guess you'll just have to settle for boring little old me. A very interesting role of Geoffrey Adams. Again, from a character that originally, in case you didn't know, started off as a one-off character for our friends over at Foxway Studios. So the character is a bit of a one-off. He shows up, he's a bit of a bad baddie, a little bit of a fun introduction scene to George Rybrook, and he dies. So that was a lot of fun, little moment. I just thought, oh, give him a bit of an accent, I don't know, have fun of it. Refer to my video about accents being hard. We decided to make a quick horror movie, as we've always wanted to make one. Again, for more background on the actual coming up of it, I suggest you go watch our other video, the making of Commander's Mortum. But now I have to carry a whole 40 minutes or whatever with the accent. Oh boy, was that a mistake. It was hard. It was so hard, and I was so upset that I had to do an accent, and I had screwed myself in some way. Obviously, I didn't know. I was just doing a one-off character, and then next thing I know, okay, now it's happening, and I'm doing a bit more of him. And the accent was hard, it was rough, and it definitely fluctuates at moments. Or specifically, it falters. It becomes one of those things, with every new character I've done now, I want to make sure they look, even sound, and behave as different from another one as they can. So as if I showed you a silhouette of me, and my mannerism and the way I talked, but not seeing how they're dressed or talk, I want people to be like, oh, that's not the same character. I want to be able to make a different impact with each of them, including from the haircut, the way I behave, to my facial expressions, to my mannerisms, etc., etc. That's important. You don't want to play the same character every time, especially in a limited scenario like with us, where I act a lot. Because yes, of course, I really do enjoy it. I've come to really, really like it. But at the same time, I know that if I don't differentiate my characters soon enough, it'll feel bland and boring to see me in front of the camera, and I don't want that, and I don't think the audience, you want that either. I also plan to maybe take a little bit of a break from it for a while, spoilers, just to not fall in that repetition of it's just me acting again, and losing the spark of a new character and feeling fresh. Anyway, Geoffrey was interesting. He had a lot of divisiveness inside him. This very negative man, because he's very caught up in his own head about who he is as a person, and the way he behaves should reflect that, and the way he speaks and addresses people. Very nonchalant, very a little jokey, using humor to deflect. I think it's the first proper version of that is, apart from the very beginning when he tries to joke away smoking to his assistant, is later on when he first encounters the knight, where he just looks at him surprised and then cracks a joke about Halloween. Because obviously I'd assume he's scared in the scenario, but he can't help himself but deflect with comedy. Which of course turns a bit more serious from that point on, and he doesn't really do that as much. Although earlier on in the movie there was a cut scene, can be seen in the behind the scenes, where he does interact with Anna, and he's a bit more in the levity mood. Because that's the kind of character he is. He tries to find the levity even in a serious moment that is full of panic and stuff. Story-wise, the flow wasn't exactly the best because of it, but it reflected the character appropriately. It's hard to explain. Sometimes the best thing for the story is to cut a piece, but for a character-wise, I do believe the character behaved appropriately to himself. Other important characters were the Knight. The Knight was a very interesting one to have. Both me and Emilio performed the Knight in different ways, both physically and vocally. It's hard to act with mannerisms when you don't see the mouth or facial expression, so sometimes you overdo movements to try to compensate that. The very first scene, when it's in the apartment, that's Emilio acting him, and I think you can tell a little bit more of the overacting, let's say, by the body, because you feel like you have to, which is not wrong. You do have to, because it's necessary. But at the same time, in reflection to that, I play him later on at the churchyard, and there I'm a lot less moving, and because Well, I felt like he shouldn't. I feel like he should be a bit more like a statuesque figure, a threatening statue that looms over you, not necessarily a human being. Try to differentiate that, especially while we try to do the voice and such with him. Daniel Abrego, our friend who played the mysterious character that may or may not be in the night or connected with them, he did a great job. I really like the sense of like constant threat that comes off of him. It's very nice. The look he gives and like the mirror is fantastic. This look right here, so good. It's a very ominous air of this person is not a friend from the get-go. It's not necessarily easy to portray that properly, and I think he did a really nice job to instantly be like, oh, this guy's an asshole. Next we have Elisa. She did a fantastic job as Anna. Really great. Some of my favorite scenes of acting were with her. It really flowed really nice. I had a great time. Obviously a friend, so it helped. Then again, all these people are friends, but I feel like the chemistry came off nicer because of that. The character felt like perfectly almost out of place in some ways, but that made it so nice. It isn't just another face in the crowd. The character has their moment, has their scenes, has her attitude, has a feeling, and you instantly kind of understand her and the way she is, and her connection with Geoffrey, I hope. Really had a very levity, happy kind of character and a very miserable outlook to some things. So I really liked her performance very much. Again, every small bit helps. Robin. Now, Dennis here had quite the time with him because he had very limited screen time, which in the end was probably our fault as filmmakers that we didn't develop it a little bit better, having the only relationship be shown as them arguing. But I thought it was important to show that his love life was also rocky and unstable. The same way that relationship is viewed by the population, it's bleeding into their own relationship, the negativity, and therefore they're that way. Of course, Dennis's character is obviously very honest and wanting to be free and show himself to the world about how he is and how he feels, whilst Geoffrey is closed in and afraid. I think he did a really nice job portraying like quite a few heavy emotions while still keeping a little bit of a sense of hope in his performance, and that's very nice. I feel like there was a little bit of a gap in there with them, and I think that comes from our fault of performance a little bit. Overall, I think the scene still works for what it's supposed to be, but it definitely could have been better. But that's, as an actor, I feel like it's important to look and go, you know what, we could have done better, but practice makes perfect, all that stuff. And sometimes you're there on the scene and you feel like, you know what, I really felt that performance, and then you're in the editing chair and go, you know, it happens. We have Timo. Quick little character. I feel like really felt in the world. The looks are very nice here. I generally really like the staring. It really gives this air of like what's around the corner. A very quick performance, but honestly very nice. But next up we have Adam. Same thing here. The eye is very bulgy and stuff. Very nice. It gives this air of a psychopath, and it's very nicely done. I really enjoy it. The movement as well. The slow creep, the turn, a little bit of like a tilt to the back. Very nice, good details. Again, this idea of like almost inhuman, not completely, but a little bit. It's again subtle but nice. Use the time you have with the camera to make a difference and an impact on the screen. Not every time. Talk to your director, of course, but don't make your character be a non-character. Have something there, but don't overdo it. Again, you know this by now, but it's important to mention. And last but not least, we have Emilio. This is the one action bit we have in it, and it's the chase. And Emilio is a really good expression actor. But it's one of those things where I remember seeing it for the first time and being like, that guy really nails the way he looks in movies. The way he perceives the world, and you understand he really can portray emotions without having to say a thing. And God, that's good. He can just look at you as his character, and you know exactly what he thinks of you, what he wants to do to you, etc. He's really good at that. He was great at that in Colorwood, and that's a character right here, Björn, that he didn't have to say anything. You know, performance straight to the point, but again, really good. And as always, dying like a pro. If you want someone to die, you call Emilio. Really, really good job. It was a really fun, present experience. And again, hopefully in the future, we'll have more people that were actually in the project talk about characters they were in. But for now, I really wanted to delve in a little bit about this. That's about it, I suppose. Again, apologies for the voice, a little bit under the weather. But hey, next one, we'll see what we talk about then. There's always more to discuss. And again, I look forward to the next project we have, and we can, I can have some other people next to me and discuss with them their performances and such. Thanks again for watching. See you guys when I see you guys. Bye-bye.
Good.